Hello, and thank you for joining us on this Monday edition of Weather Impact Now. I'm Chief Meteorologist Trevor Burchett, joined by meteorologist Kit Thomas and meteorologist Daniel McDonald here in just a bit for a check of your regional forecast. Man, what a nice Monday we had. I know it's easy to get those Monday grumpies, but they're not as bad when it's this sunny and comfortable, especially for this time of the year. It could be a lot more humid. That is going to be coming up a little later this week, though. Let's take a look at your next weather impact. For now, we are sunny and warmer. That's kind of the big story as we look ahead. This nice weather that we saw today is really expected to continue as we look ahead through the rest of this week. We are sunny and basically dry. I do not expect any major rain chances aside from maybe a couple of sprinkles. Temperatures are going to be slowly climbing, though, as we look ahead to the next couple of days, especially by this weekend. That's when we are really going to be warming on up. And then again, as we look ahead to the weekend, that's when we could even see some spots getting close to that 90-degree mark. We'll talk all about that in a bit. But I want to kind of set up the upper level weather pattern to explain to you why this is happening and what things could look like over the next couple of days. So you look at the jet stream, and this is kind of where all the magic happens. This is the wind pattern up in the atmosphere, closer to the level where airplanes fly. And you see these areas of higher wind. Those are, some jet streaks within the jet stream. But in general, what we look at is the positioning of the jet stream. It's kind of like train tracks that storms follow. So when you see the jet stream that far north, well, it means not a whole lot's going to get down here. We do get a little dip on Wednesday there, you see, but that's not going to be kind of on the right side to bring us any major rain. It could knock our temperature down a bit, but by the weekend, high pressure sets back in. We get what's called a ridge of high pressure where the jet stream kind of bends to the north right over us, and that allows warmer weather, maybe some more humid weather to sneak into the mid-south. But on the flip side, it also keeps us sunny and mainly dry as we look ahead. Temperature outlook through the middle of the month. This is for the next 6 to 10 days. So this is May 17th through May 21st. Temperatures will likely be above average, and our average high right now is 80 degrees. So when we start to see above average, when our average is 80, we're talking about mid to upper 80s that are going to be possible here for the next little bit. Look at these high temperatures closer to the low and mid 80s for now. There's that one little dip in the jet stream that we saw. Could bring in some slightly cooler weather Thursday with a high of 79. And then that ridge really sets in. That brings us into the mid and upper 80s, possibly even closer to 90 as we look ahead to this weekend. Saturday and Sunday definitely looking to be more on the warm side. I want to bring in now meteorologist Kit Thomas. He's over at the weather wall. Kit, we were talking about it. We've not yet seen a 90-degree day in Memphis, but it looks like we could have a shot this weekend. Yeah,
we're getting into the mid to upper 80s there. It's going to be pretty warm. Some of us across the mid-south will probably get very close to that 90-degree mark. But the thing is, like you were showing, Trevor, with that high pressure, we're pulling in a lot of warm air from the south. And what's the warm and wet to the south? Gulf of Mexico, of course. So that's going to be sending us a lot of moisture as we get into the weekend, and that's going to bring in some higher humidity. There you see it start pouring in across the Mississippi River Valley into the Midwest even. So that's going to increase the humidity. Now, whenever that happens and we're hot, we start to talk about the heat index. The heat index is something similar to wind chill in the wintertime. It's how our body reacts to the weather conditions. Now, as we are mammals, we sweat through, and that allows our temperatures to cool down through the evaporation of that sweat. High humidity, whenever we've got a lot of moisture around our body, that evaporation doesn't happen as efficiently or not at all. So it actually keeps the heat retained within our body, and it makes us feel even hotter. So whenever we have very, very dry conditions, it actually does the opposite. It cools us down faster, and the heat index can actually be under the actual air temperature, but it's going to be humid, so it's going to make it feel just a little bit hotter. Now, usually we see our average first 90-degree day over the last several decades around May 23rd. So we haven't gotten there yet. It's around the time that we could start to see it, because the earliest we've ever seen it back in '06 was April 17th. The latest back in 1997 around June 22nd. We've had some June 1st 90-degree days over the last couple of years, so it may just miss the mark here as we get into the weekend. We saw the forecast there from Trevor, only a high of around 89 degrees. So if we get there, it'll be right about time within a week or so of that average first. But overall, it is going to just feel pretty muggy out there, probably the muggiest we've seen so far this year, Trevor.
Yeah, Kit, those dew points are creeping up, and that means, again, like you said, not only is it going to be hot, it's going to be one of those weekends you might be sweating just a little bit more. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Again, might be close to 90. We might have to adjust those numbers up or down just a little bit. Today we made it to 77. We also had a very dry air mass in place, so the humidity and the dew point were very low, and that means we felt very comfortable. You might have felt that northerly breeze today. Kept things feeling very nice, even though we did make it to the mid and upper 70s. Average high is 80, so we're not far off from that. Record, by the way, is 92 on this date, and that was set back just a few years ago, back in 2022, which if you were here, you know that was a very warm year. Beautiful blue sky at East Memphis right now as we check out Clark Tower. Notice though, flag blowing coming out of the north. Again, that's that comfortable dry air mass creeping in. So even though we did get to the 70s today, our dew point is in the 30s and 40s. So you don't really feel a lot of that humidity in the air. We don't really notice the humidity until the dew point gets to 60 or 65. And then by the time the dew point hits 70, that's when you're going to start to sweat just a little bit. Thankfully not there yet, but again, over the next few days, we'll have to watch. Overnight tonight with a low dew point, temperatures will drop pretty quickly. Down to the 60s by 10 p.m. under a mostly clear sky. We, of course, are totally dry tonight, but we're going to end up a little on the cool side for your Tuesday morning. So plan ahead, especially if you're cool-natured. You might notice a little bit of a chill in the air tomorrow. 48 tomorrow morning in Dyersburg, 49 in Covington, 48 in Bolivar and Corinth. We'll drop to 51 tonight in Oxford and Forest City. Low to mid-50s for us here in the Memphis area. Everybody, though, under a mostly clear sky. So a cool start tomorrow morning, but we will actually see temperatures climb warmer than they were today by tomorrow afternoon. 78 by 1 o'clock and then eventually closer to the 80s by the afternoon. Totally sunny though, hardly a cloud in the sky, and I think rain chances, of course, are also 0. Another point to mention here, and we might tease Kit's segment coming up. Sunrise 5:59. One of the first days we've seen so far that sunrise was actually before 6 a.m. Kit's going to talk a lot more about that coming up here in just a bit. 83 tomorrow in Blytheville. We'll get to 83 in Wynn, Forest City. 82 with sunshine in Helena, West Helena. Low to mid 80s in North Mississippi. It's going to be 81 in Holly Springs and Oxford. 82 in Batesville and Corinth. Plenty of sun. Just a beautiful day across the Mid-South. Looks good tomorrow in West Tennessee. 82 Dyersburg, Ripley, Alamo, Brownsville, and Covington. Also in Summerville and Bolivar. 83 in Millington, and then low to mid 80s for us here in Memphis as well. We do warm up even more on Wednesday. We're going to be sunny for the most part. 83 is the high. We get a little weak front that's going to pass through on Wednesday. Not going to bring us much of a huge rain chance, but it is going to knock the temperature down a bit for Thursday, at least temporarily. And then I think, again, by Friday and the weekend, we see those numbers pretty much go right back up. So again, rain chances, they're very low through the weekend. Most of us are totally dry for the rest of the week and for the weekend. Wednesday, though, I did throw in a 10% chance, again, for that weak front that's going to pass through. We might see a sprinkle. I don't think it's even enough to have your umbrella nearby, but 6 a.m., a couple of blips on the radar, and then by the afternoon and evening, maybe a couple of isolated sprinkles in North Mississippi. But again, I think most of us are dry, just a very slim chance of a sprinkle or two on Wednesday, and then I think after that, we look dry and hot through the weekend. Remember, though, as we get closer to the weekend and maybe some more heat and humidity and those pop-up storms in the summertime, you can always check the radar to see where the storms are anytime with the ABC24 Plus app. You can scan the QR code there on your screen, and that's going to take you to download our app either for your cell phone or for your smart TV, your Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, Samsung, whatever you have. It's totally free. You don't need cable or satellite. You can watch us anytime. But again, you can also just watch the radar and see what's going on in your area. As those storms kind of become a little more isolated in the summer months, you can see if you're under the risk of seeing some rain, or if you're going to stay sunny. For us right now, it's all sunshine. 80 degrees tomorrow after a little bit of a cool morning. 80 degrees for the afternoon, 83 with sunshine on Wednesday. Again, that very slight sprinkle chance. Most of us are going to be dry though. 79 with sunshine Thursday. That's when we see those temperatures very briefly dip down. And then by the weekend, we really heat back up. This is when we're also going to see some of that humidity build back in. 85 Friday, 88 Saturday, and 89 on Sunday. We might have to bump that up a bit more. We could see some spots hit 90 this weekend. And again, this is the time the humidity is going to build back in. So not only is it going to be warm this weekend, it's going to be a little more muggy. And when you get that combination, you can't ever completely rule out a shower. So we've got in that 20% chance for the weekend and on Friday too, just because there could be a stray shower somewhere. Most of us are dry and sunny for the weekend. Next week, I think rain chances could try to come up a bit more. Sunshine on Monday, high of 87, and again, just a very slight chance of a pop-up storm. But for now, sunshine, warm, humid. That's kind of the motto here for the rest of this week, and especially looking ahead into the weekend. All right, we talked about it earlier, but sunrises are getting sooner and sooner. We'll talk about what those numbers mean for Memphis, and we'll take you somewhere that the sun's not going to be setting for a while. It's coming up after the break.